What's up, guys? So it has been 8 years since I quit my job at Whole Foods in New Jersey to become a full-time detoxification coach. Now, my parents, my family told me I was absolutely nuts when I sat them down and said, hey, I have to quit this job at Whole Foods. It was only my second shift. I need to start this thing called Detox. And I stirred up all kinds of drama. They looked at me like I was nuts. Like, what are you talking about? What is a detox coach, Josh? You are out of your mind once again. Obviously, it's paid off. The Detox Dudes is a huge, thriving business, and it's amazing. But in the 8 years that I've been doing this, I've worked with thousands of people. I've seen everything under the sun, every kind of physical, mental, spiritual, emotional ailment you could possibly imagine. I've worked with billionaires, world-class athletes, CEOs, founders, everyday mom and pop and grandma, grandpa, and even the kids too. And this whole spectrum of people that I've worked with has really taught me a lot about health and about disease. It's also taught me a lot about not only from a physical standpoint of what health equals, but from a spiritual, emotional, and cultural standpoint, how people are getting sick and why they're getting sick. I've become a very well-respected health coach in the biohacking space, and I want to share you very important things that I've learned about health and wellness. What I've observed is that there are 5 core things that make people sick and prevent them from living their best life, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. And so if you're not living your best life right now, okay, if you know there's another level for you, just watch this video before you go to another meditation retreat, ayahuasca journey, Tony Robbins retreat, or just thinking that something is inherently chemically wrong with you. After you listen to this video, you do your own research about all of these subjects. Do your own research about some of the facts that I'm about to say, and you can start to empower yourself and take matters into your own hands and recognize how many things you can actually change within your life other than just changing your thoughts, right? 99% of self-help out there is just telling you to change the way you think about everything, or change your thoughts, or have mantras, or wake up earlier. All of that stuff is good, but obviously we all know that content. We all know what we should be doing, and yet many of us still fall victim to illness or disease. So why is that? Well, in my opinion, it's these 5 things I'm about to talk about, okay? Number 1, toxins. You've heard it from me on many other videos, but heavy metals, parasites, chemicals, mold, plastics, old rotting fecal matter all creates an acidic environment in the body where the devil has free reign. Okay, it becomes the devil's playground when your body is acidic. Now, you don't have to take my own word for this. Just do your own research, or just go on Instagram for an hour and you'll be bombarded with reels and images and stories about how messed up our society is, our culture is, and industry is destroying our environment. You have forever chemicals, heavy metals, pharmaceutical drugs, pathogens, and glyphosate in our drinking water. You have BHA and BHT in our cereals in America, which are hopefully about to be banned. Glyphosate in our vegetables, polyester clothes, right, which I just stopped wearing a couple years ago. They destroy your hormones and your testosterone and your sperm counts. And there's heavy metals in chocolate, VOCs in the air fresheners and candles, BPA in your Starbucks cup and plastics, benzenes, aldehydes, phthalates in your sunscreen and perfume, lead in your lipstick. Most people eat 50 pounds of plastic in their lifetime, right? So you get the point. Toxins are a massive issue in this world. And there's an argument that this shouldn't affect us or that the liver takes care of it. It's an insane argument because this stuff is not just found in the environment. It's found in breast milk, in urine, in blood. And our detox mechanisms have not evolved to handle this yet. The evolution process of a human being is slow. The chemical revolution was and is very fast. And so what happens is when you have all these toxins, the body is using energy to handle and deal with the toxins. It's using all its precious life force to try and cope with it. The cells get buried with toxins, they get damaged, they don't function properly, and you end up just getting fatigued and tired for all of the extra work that your body is dealing with and doing to try and handle the toxins. When people are infiltrated with toxins, they can't feel their true emotions, true thoughts, true spirit. They'll operate at a much lower battery capacity, sometimes for people's entire lives. And they just chase other things to try and make up for it, like Adderall or coffee or drugs. And they don't realize that their battery is chronically low. If you're dealing with bad moods, if you're plagued with a sick mind, or you're unable to keep positive momentum in your life, it's not only that you're doing something wrong, maybe you are as well, but if you're doing everything right and you still feel that way, toxins really create create a line of free will. It becomes a gray zone where even if you're doing a lot of things right, you still may not feel good because toxins mess with your biology. Number 2, dishonesty with self. This is a huge issue amongst men today. False bravado characters which prevent people from acknowledging and accepting the truth about how they feel, about themselves, about others, about their true emotions, or their true life. This is very often a masculine flaw where men become addicted to strength, addicted to productivity, addicted to materialism. But the thing is, it's not a true, deep, internal soul spiritual strength. It's a facade of strength. Men have this illusion and idea of how they think they need to be, and they put on a bravado machismo character in order to get through the world. And they may be crushing life. They may have a hot girlfriend. They may have money. They may have the fancy cars. They may have physical fitness, but they're actually not connected to the true experience of themselves. Because every single human is vulnerable. Every single human, every single creature is vulnerable. It's by default. It's in our DNA. It's nature. Every creature has vulnerabilities. And so when we're not in touch with our vulnerabilities and we're obsessed with strength and bravado, we don't get to let go, we don't get to rest, and we don't get to heal and digest. We're constantly in a state of fight or flight and in a state of performing and acting and making shit happen. And that, of course, has an expiration date. Again, even people who you see who look healthy, who are jacked, who have all of the material goods, they're majorly burning the candle at both ends. And they can be majorly out of touch with the true nature of themselves. And over time, this will corrode a physical body. I have hundreds of clients who come to me in the bravado character saying, how can I possibly be sick? I have this, I have that, I'm fit, I'm the man. How can I possibly not feel well? Well, because that is false strength. There's hundreds of examples online about this that you can see for yourself. Let's just go over like 1 or 2 examples of this. I have here a video that we'll watch together, right? This is a fake alpha male tries and fails to intimidate man. So let's press play on this. Let's watch it together and I'll just dissect a little bit of it.
That's the worst thing about these They try to give you relationship advice. You got a borderline Miami 2. That's like a Mississippi 6. Don't give me relationship advice to my 10 when you got a 2, mother. Shut up. But there's this whole thing. People don't think I'm going to put the measuring stick to their motherfucking face. They better just watch what they say around a motherfucker who's beating them in every area. You better have a bad pick. You better be ripped. You better get rolling some sick shit. That's what I like. I grew up hustling. There's me rims on my goddamn Phantom. Go out front. That ain't normal Phantom. That's a Mansory Phantom. I don't have the normal shit. Chick's got upgrades done.
Well said, Wes. God damn!
This is an individual who is stuck in an angry 7-year-old mentality. He's angry. You can feel from his space that he's angry. He has something to prove at all times. There's millions of things we can dissect about this as far as, is he alpha, is he not alpha, what is alpha? But in terms of sickness, in terms of well-being, you have to understand that it takes a massive amount of life force and a massive amount of lying to oneself to withhold an image like that. He is obviously a strong individual. He is obviously a powerful individual, but he's not connected to truth. You look at the guy who he's talking to, who's actually ends up owning him in this video, who's just this like pudgy Christian guy who has a wife and a family and is devoted to his family. And you can see, wow, this other guy is so much wiser, so much more grounded, so much more at peace with himself. And that actually becomes the alpha behavior. So with respect to illness, with respect to disease, a lot of these people, like another example would be someone like Andy Elliott, right? Screaming at his employees to take their shirt off. Let's see your physical body. Let's see what you look like.
Take your shirt off for a minute. Just take it off for a minute. I'm going to show you guys something. Do you have a lot of money in the bank?
No.
Okay. Does that make you happy?
No.
Okay. Do you guys see yourself naked in the mirror every single day before you go out of the house? Okay. Do you like how you look? We just go numb. We're just like, fuck it, man. I'll wear a sweatshirt today. And I want you to write this down. Discipline. And I want you to, as a matter of fact, I want you to write it on the fucking mirror. Discipline. And every day I want you to look at yourself in that mirror and I want you to ask yourself, how fucking disciplined do you look? You tell customers that you're going to do stuff for them. Why? You don't even look like you're taking care of yourself. How are you going to take care of me?
Andy Elliott is another person who is embodying this angry alpha machismo character. Again, powerful, yes. Strong, yes. Wealthier than me, yes. But in a major conflict within himself. You can see it. It's visible on his face, in his eyes, on his skin. It's an overheated fire energy that burns everything. It burns him. Now, how long can he do it for? I don't know, but eventually it has an expiration date. So with respect to you, the viewer, everyday mom and pop, or whoever's watching this, you want to just get really honest with yourself and own and acknowledge your vulnerabilities. Another example, Conor McGregor, right? When he got his ass kicked by Dustin Poirier, he's laying on the ground with a broken, completely fractured leg. All he had to do to get back in touch with his truth is say something like, "You were the better man tonight. I'm going to come back stronger." But instead, he went into a compensation.
Was not one of them I checked. Your wife is in me DMs, hey baby, hit me back up, I'll chat to you later on. We'll be at the after party, the Win nightclub, baby.
This is where men get it twisted. Anger protects you from how fragile you really feel. And men don't want to feel fragile. But guess what? In every man's life, at some stage of the game, you're going to feel fragile. And so just owning that, being real with yourself, you gain life force and you don't have to withhold an image that ends up being exhausting. These guys specifically, what's in their future, I don't know. But I would almost guarantee that in the next 5 to 15 years, these two are going to be dealing with some sort of imbalance or illness in their bodies. Now, they'll probably handle it in a machismo way, which is just getting more IVs, taking more steroids, doing this, continuing to get stronger and stronger and stronger, right? But eventually, at 60 or 70 years old, it all collapses. If you want to be well, you have to be honest with yourself. The other end of this spectrum of dishonesty would just be looking like someone who's excessively nice and polite all the time. You know, like a false, humble character who doesn't put up any fights, who's always agreeable and people-pleasing. This is exhausting to uphold as well, and also you're gonna have terrible boundaries. So these dishonesties, though sometimes they can be very unintentional, they cause major conflict within oneself, and they take a massive amount of life force to uphold the image. Number 3, toxic life. Being in a shitty relationship, a shitty living situation, work environment, family situation, where you know you need to get out of it, but for X, Y, and Z reasons, you continue to engage in the unhealthy activity or the situation. Usually this is because you're wounded somewhere, or you feel compelled to stay in it for some wounded reason, or you feel not worthy, or you feel trapped into thinking that that's the only option. Right? For me, I remember living in my mom's basement 8 years ago, and I was like, I have to be here. I have to be here. There's no other way. I have to take care of the family. I have to stay here. I don't have enough money, X, Y, Z, a million reasons. And I did a session with a practitioner, and I was saying, I really don't like being here. It's really unhealthy for me. It's not what I need. And she looked at me and she said, you just started a business called Detox Dudes, right? She said, do you really think someone who's devoted to their health would be in this toxic situation? And that question like popped my brain. And I realized if I'm going to be about health, if I'm going to teach people how to be healthy, I have to embrace it in every arena of my life. So all of the excuses, all of the reasons I had not to move, they were all bullshit. I had $14,000 at the time, and I was thinking, I need to save up a year's worth of money. And I remember being in a juice bar, and the owner was this Russian gangster guy. I told him about my life dilemma, like I really want to move, I don't have enough money, and he looked at me laughing, and he looked at me and he goes, you're a pussy. I came to this country with $500 and zero English, and now I built $2 million businesses, right? And so I left 2 days later. I drove across the country and I left 2 days later because I realized that for every shitty situation, there's 10 to 20 excuses and reasons and all this different bullshit of why you'll keep yourself there. And you have to continue to penetrate through the bullshit and raise your standards and grow as a person. If you don't do that, sickness is inevitable. And obviously with family, you know, things are harder, right? Like one person's paradigm might be, I have to be there for my mom at all costs. That is a certain value system. You value family above everything else. I decided that I was going to value health above everything else, health and well-being. And when you choose that value system, yes, things will get messy. Yes, maybe you'll piss people off, but you know what? You end up being more helpful to those in your family and to those around you because you have more to give and you are a living, breathing representation of what is possible in life. When you stay small and give your small help to your family members, okay, that's still noble. When you get big and you get healthy and you choose to break free from all of the dogma and the paradigms and the bullshit and all of the conditioning, you break out of that prison and you show your family what is possible versus giving them money, going to dinner, doing these small little things. You give them a big platform to step into. Hey, this is what's possible out of life. And I'm here for you, but I'm here for you in a healthy way, in a way where I get to give in a way that's sustainable versus a way where I give and I'm drained. So choosing to be dutiful or responsible or choosing your family above all else has major consequences, and it can impact your personal sovereignty, your health, and your freedom. In my opinion, when you choose the health, you choose the freedom, you actually can also give more in the other ways. And another example of toxic life would be when someone's North Star is always money. If your North Star is money and you're chasing this digits, these pixels on a screen for your dopamine and for your self-worth, and that your whole life is orchestrated on how you can make more money, disease is inevitable. You are way too big to be committed to money as your number one North Star. Number 4, traumas, wounds, and energetic parasites. You see, from a young age, we have all learned codes from our parents and family about how to live, how to think, and how to process the world. Many of these codes are faulty, wounded, and sick. These codes are also passed down from their parents. Where is the free will? And see, the thing is, these events at a young age, they can create cuts in the psyche and in the energy body, which hurt deeply. But at that age that we get cut, we're not capable of processing or digesting these things. So instead, we bottle them up, cover them up, put them in the closet, and they become festering wounds that affect every arena of life unconsciously. You look at that guy like Wes Watson, he's really just a traumatized, angry, hurt child. Now again, yes, he's rich, yes, he's wealthy, yes, he has a Bugatti, but if you actually look at terms of his freedom within himself, well, he's a slave to his wounds, in my opinion. In one school that I trained in, we called these samskaras, which is the Sanskrit word for wounds. Other schools have different words for it, but essentially it's just a wound, a spiritual, energetic, emotional wound. And even billionaires who may seem entirely free, travel private everywhere around the world, eat the best foods, have 10 girlfriends, they have a $100,000 a month house. These people can also be entirely a slave to their wounds inside of themselves, trying to please their parents, prove their parents wrong, or defend against some incalculable danger that doesn't exist anymore. And so a lot of people have deep samskaras from young ages where they don't feel safe, accepted, wanted, or heard. And this stuff plays out on repeat over and over in people's lives. And it's exhausting, and it can create illness. A lot of people think everything is about the here and the now. It's my girlfriend's fault. She did this. She does that. She shouldn't do this. But a lot of times, if you go to the root of the emotion, if you go deeper inside of yourself, you'll notice that many things that are charged inside of your system have to do with your childhood, not the here and the now. And the deepest of wounds and cuts from traumas, they can actually invite in unwanted guests, energetic parasites that hijack the life force of a human being. They also influence the mind greatly. This is a huge subject. I did a podcast on it with Owen Cook. You can check it out. And a lot of people will call me crazy for this subject, but it's very real. And number 5, self-love. You gotta love yourself like your life depends on it. And a lot of people have a complete inability to feel love. And even people who can feel love for others, their pets, their animals, their family, they don't know how to actually love themselves, chronically bashing themselves deep within. At a certain point in a lot of people's lives, it's like asking a fish what's water. They only know how to be a strict, rigorous, negative coach to themselves. But if they actually slowed down to hear their thoughts, to hear how they treated themselves, they would hear this nasty drill sergeant within themselves. The opposite is what you need if you want health. You have to learn how to become your own best friend, your own ally. And when you do this, your cells will change. Your DNA will change. Your body and mind will change when you love yourself. I've been playing a lot of golf recently, and one of the best golf books that I've ever read is called Golf is Not a Game of Perfect. If you know about golf, most people, myself included, are on the course bashing themselves for hitting a bad shot. Just negative thought, negative spirals about how they suck at golf and how they're not good enough and playing up to their expectations. And when you hate yourself on the golf course, it destroys your golf round. And so in this book, he talks about how you have to be your own caddy. You have to be your own best caddy. And that's the way that you talk to yourself on a golf course, like coaching yourself, rooting for yourself, even after you make a bad shot. And that is a game changer in life and a game changer on the golf course. So if you're not feeling good, you have to slow down to the point of being able to catch your negative spins about how shitty you are as a person, or how you're failing, or how you should do more. And this concept of self-love would really be in a category of basics. basics, right? Along with the right water, sunshine, grounding, posture, diet, movement. All of this stuff is in one category here of the basics that if you don't have down, illness can definitely strike. It's not that kind of love. It's a gentle, subtle thing. You love yourself when you make mistakes, when you fuck up, and you love yourself relentlessly no matter what logic would say. A lot of logical people would say, how can I love myself if I just drank again? I'm a piece of shit. I just binge ate again. I'm such a piece of shit. But here's the thing. Self-hatred is what facilitates the loops of poor behavior. When you love yourself, change becomes a natural byproduct and you step out of the endless loops. It breaks the cycle. So that's it. Those are the 5 most important things that I've discovered on this journey. There are obviously tons of other reasons for somebody not feeling their best, but these are the most common and the most impactful that I've ever seen. Now do me a favor, guys. It's a new channel. Give me a comment. Tell me what you thought about the video. Give me some ideas for future videos. Give me a like, subscribe, comment 3 times. No, I'm just kidding. Just comment once. Tell me what you thought about it. New videos every week. See you on the next video.